Okay, I bet you weren't thinking the 1987 Ronald Reagan speech would cancel US trade talks with Canada, right? But here we are. Donald Trump has called the Ontario government's ad using Reagan talking about tariffs fake. And the Reagan Foundation says the ad has misrepresented the address. So let's compare. First off, the speech isn't fake, though it is edited. As you'll hear, the lines are used verbatim. Here's the ad.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation.
And here's Reagan's speech.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation.
Now, in the 1-minute ad, the order of some of the lines have been changed. For example, the opening line of the ad.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports,
it's said about 2.5 minutes into Reagan's speech.
when someone says, let's impose tariffs,
The following line in the ad,
but over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
was said more than a minute
Japanese
before in the
semiconductors were
speech.
especially-
But are his words misrepresented in the ad as the Reagan Foundation claims?
Absolutely not. I think they're really just positioning themselves to avoid the wrath of the president.
That's Douglas Irwin, professor of economics from Dartmouth College and expert on US trade history.
The ads does not misrepresent his views. He was very much in favor of free trade.
This 1987 speech was made when the Republican president had just imposed 100% tariffs on some Japanese electronics over what Reagan said was
Clear evidence that Japanese companies were engaging in unfair trade practices.
But Reagan made it clear in this address that he wasn't into tariffs.
He didn't want to do that, but it was sort of forced under the circumstances of the time. But once the U.S. economy began to recover, he vetoed protectionist legislation coming from Congress. He opened up these trade negotiations with Canada and other countries to lead to freer trade.
So what about Trump's claims that Reagan loved tariffs?
No, actually, Reagan was a free trader. Sometimes people say, well, he was like Trump because he imposed the protectionism on the auto industry in the early 1980s. But once again, he did so reluctantly, whereas Trump is very enthusiastic and says this will be great for America.
And that 1987 radio message wasn't the only time the Republican president spoke out about tariffs. In 1988, Reagan said protectionism should really be called destructionism, due to the economic harm it can cause.
America's jobs, America's growth, America's future depend on trade that is free, open, and fair.
So why has Trump called out this ad?
Those ads are invoking sort of a Republican hero, Ronald Reagan, who still remains popular. But unfortunately, Trump's policies are so different from Reagan's that he doesn't like the comparison so much when the contradictions between the two are pointed out to him.